It's time. It's Monday. It's Monday. Time to get back into the work week. But we got to do an update. I mean, how good can our week be if we don't get our classic rock update? Thank you for joining me. And from our "This is why we can't have nice things" file, I'll start with this. People keep pinging me. I'm a busy guy. I made a post. You know my commitment to you, the home viewer. I don't do politics. I don't do politics. Doesn't mean I don't care about politics. No, contraire. I have very strong opinions about politics, but I don't allow politics to get in the way of more important things. Okay. So I made a simple little, innocent little post, a non-political post. I guess it's political in one sense, but it's not partisan at all. The post I made this morning, because I was getting frustrated reading all this vitriol about politics, and it comes from all sides. Okay, there's not good guys and bad guys. Okay, there's normal people and there's politicians, most of which are a-holes, right? So I made this post that said, if you don't have any friends with differing political opinions than yours, then you are part of the problem. And I stand by that. Okay? If you don't have friends that vote differently than you, shame on you. You're part of the problem. Okay? You're part of this demagoguery that casts anyone that disagrees with you politically as evil or bad. That's the problem. So if you don't have any friends that vote different than you, you are part of the problem. That's all I said. I stand by that. I stand by that. And of course, people start making political partisan posts. They miss the whole point. They miss the whole point of my post. So I give up. This is why you don't talk about politics. Is it stupid? Now, I'm not saying you should not be concerned about politics. You absolutely should be. But you should never let politics get in the way of friendship or your love for metal. Okay? Greg F says, I like the shirt, Jeremy. One of the best albums of all time, rock and roll. I agree. I agree. Chris Coleman chiming in. So true. I think he agrees with my point about politics. You know, the best thing you can do to improve the division in our country, turn off your TV and have a barbecue, have a cookout with your neighbors. It's the best thing you can do. Okay? Best thing you can do. Greg F., first time posting here. I have to show up early. I follow you on Twitter, of course. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we get together. I won't say, we call it the daily update, but I'd be lying if I didn't say sometimes I miss a day or two. We try and do a daily update. But anyways, hey, we're all here for the classic rock. Okay. We have all that in common. We can all be friends, even if we vote for different people. It's ridiculous, this idea, if you support so-and-so, I can't be your friend. That's stupid. Very stupid. Jack Attack. I was taught religion and politics are not to be talked about, especially not at Thanksgiving dinner. Okay. So let's move into the news. Shall we hop in? We got some updates here. So we got some Fleetwood Mac news. Just last week, we were celebrating the anniversary of the massive Rumors album that came out in 1977. I think it was on this day on the 4th, maybe yesterday or day before yesterday. So anyways, massive album. Here's the fascinating thing about Fleetwood Mac. People don't realize that the 75 Fleetwood Mac album, the first album with Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, to the mainstream population, they think that's the beginning of Fleetwood Mac. No. That was like their 13th album, right? 13th album. And there's a case study there. We've talked about it. Malcolm Gladwell, in one of his books, talks about Fleetwood Mac and how the Fleetwood Mac that we all know and love didn't come about until 13 albums in. he makes the point that no record company on earth would allow a band to take 13 albums till they had substantial commercial success. It wouldn't happen. But let's talk about Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Nicks. She's announced an additional 12 dates have been added to her 2024 tour. Her tour starts on March 9th in Arlington, Texas. And it's a long tour, multiple dates. Well, two of those dates, March 9th, she'll be in Arlington, Texas, and then June 21st, she'll be in Chicago. Those two dates, Billy Joel will be, is he opening for her? Is she open? They're together, however that works out. Billy Joel said, we met at a Fleetwood Mac gig in San Francisco probably 10 years ago. I just got to meet her backstage, but we've never worked together, even though we both kind of hit at the same time. So this will be a completely new thing for me, end quote. So that'll be kind of a cool show. See Stevie Nicks and Billy Joel. In other Fleetwood Mac news, the great Lindsey Buckingham, super talented guy. Love Lindsey Buckingham. He remains disappointed in the way he was dismissed from Fleetwood Mac, but he continues holding out hope that he and the group may tour together one last time. Well, remember a year ago, Christine McVie died, and at that point, both Stevie Nicks and Mick Fleetwood said, well, that's the end of Fleetwood Mac. We're pretty much done. But Lindsey's still holding out hope that maybe there could be some kind of reunion, but he's not happy about the way it went, right? He was basically canned. And from all the reading of the tea leaves, everything that you dig in, the reason he was canned was Stevie Nicks. Everyone wanted Nicky there except Stevie Nicks. By the way, Greg chiming in again, Peter Green, one of the best guitarists when they were a blues band. Fleetwood Mac started out as a really good blues band. And they morphed over the years. Christine McVie came in later. Bob Welch was in for a while, but it really wasn't until 75 that Fleetwood Mac really became the juggernaut that we know and love as Fleetwood Mac right now. But Lindsey, very still hurt about being canned from the band. He says, quote, without pointing any fingers, it was certainly fairly singular in how it was driven. That's a nice way of saying, without pointing fingers, one person was at fault. Others in the band were not happy with what was going on at that point, and I think everyone would have liked to see me remain, but did what they felt they had to do in that moment, and that's understandable. There's no fingers to point at anyone, really. That's rock and roll, right? I was in the band for almost 45 years, and this is always part of our legacy. We were always able to work out our differences over things, of which were far more profound than any issues that happened in 2018 with me departing the band. So in other words, yeah, we were like going through divorces among people in the band as we recorded Rumors, right? We were not getting along personally at all, and yet we made this great album. That's his whole point. That's their legacy. They've been able to work through all the personal baggage and still make great music. Quote, the band collectively allowing that to happen, meaning him getting canned, maybe out of weakness to some degree, it disrespected the legacy we built because we'd been through 45 years almost of really some very difficult moments, some very difficult years, and we'd come back around. Like I say, that's our legacy. So to some degree, to go out and do something more generic was not honoring our legacy. So to go on tour, to replace me, Lindsey Buckingham, with Neil Finn and Mike Campbell was not respecting our legacy. And maybe he's got a point. But asked, hey, if there was a chance for you to be in a reunion, would you do it? He says, quote, in a heartbeat, absolutely. If there's more to come from Fleetwood Mac, if there's a way to heal that would be great. It would be very appropriate to close on a more circular note, end quote. Norman's chiming in. I think this is about my political, non-political rant at the beginning. You're absolutely right, man. Some of my friends with opposing views, I'm able to discuss politics, while others, I avoid those conversations, but that's fine. I don't necessarily have to have a debate. And there you go. That's the secret right there. Okay? Whether or not you agree with me should have no bearing on whether or not we can be friends. I play in a dad band, right? I play in a band, a group of guys with differing political opinions. To Norman's point, guess what? We just don't talk about politics. It's all great. We get together, we play music, that sort of thing. In a new interview with Alan Ovington, Judas Priest singer Rob Halford spoke about the songwriting and recording process for the band's upcoming studio album, Invincible Shield. That will hit the shelves on March 8th. The Crown of Horns video that was dropped last week, I like it. I dig it. Now, there's been some speculation if that song is about Jesus Christ. Some of the lyrics make you think maybe it is. Other people say, no, I don't think it is. But it's a thought-provoking song from Judas Priest. And I would encourage you to give it a listen. I like it. He says on making Invincible Shield, Halford says, well, the process of making Invincible Shield was pretty much the same as most of the albums that Priest has made through the decades. It's this unique combination of having two guitar players and a singer together in the room, starting the day off with no metal, and at the end of it, having something that's going to be around a lot longer than you are. But yeah, I get in the room with Glenn Tipton and Richie Faulkner, and the riffs start. It's a lot of jamming. It's a lot of riffing. And just free creativity. It's just remarkable how this whole process, this chemistry between the three of us takes place, and we love it. It's very special to us. Asked if he found any particular themes reoccurring while he was writing the lyrics for the new album, Rob said, well, I'm the lyricist and I do my best to try and create messages and ideas that are new and fresh. Obviously, there are elements in Priest that we love to reinvestigate. Take the serpent and the king, the classic good versus evil, which will always be part of humanity. The serpent's the devil and the king is God. So here's a new approach to that particular theme. Panic Attack is quite cool, looking at the darker side of the implications of the World Wide Web. Invincible Shield, the title track, man, that's just who we are and we stand for. That's just who we are and what we stand for. So there we have it. A lot of Priest from different angles and different perspectives. The singles I've heard, I'm digging. So I'm looking forward to that release on May 8th. He does say this. He says, we've tried our best not to replicate anything that we've done, from Rock-a-Rolla all the way through to Firepower. Each record has had a distinctive character. And it's tough because fans go, we want another Painkiller. We want another British Steel. And it's like, dude, we've already done that. He's got a point. I love Judas Priest. I'm looking forward to this new album. Have I told you how much I love the new Saxon album? Yeah, I love it. Check it out. Guys, my comments are on fire. This is wonderful. This is great. Jack, still a lot of bad vibes in Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, absolutely. There are. And that's sad. We hate to see bad vibes in the bands that we love. Marlon says Faulkner sounds a lot like Shanker. Now, how would this be? Okay. Let's get Shanker and Priest. Could you imagine that? Glenn's not going to be able to be in the band much. And he doesn't tour with them anymore. Really, he'll play a few songs. But could you imagine bringing Shanker into Priest? Dude, that would be sweet. Be cool. You can't keep a rock and roll legend off the airwaves. No, you can't. Who am I talking about? Alice Cooper. Remember Nights with Alice Cooper? I used to love that syndicated radio show. Well, it went away about a year ago. Well, guess what? He's coming back. He is relaunching his long-running radio TV show. It starts tonight. So tonight, you can hear the new, it's not called Nights with Alice Cooper. It's called Alice's Attic. And it's the same creative team. It will probably be a lot like Nights with Alice Cooper, but it's now being syndicated via Super Radio. So that's great. If you were a fan of that show, you can get on board and listen to Alice's Attic. Here's the thing about Alice Cooper. And Greg F says, my friend saw Alice Cooper last year in concert and he loved the show. I have never seen Alice Cooper live, but all I've heard is how great the show is. So many musicians have toured with him and have been, he's like an ambassador of rock and roll. But I'm going to let you in on a secret. And I feel bad for saying this because I love Alex. I love Alice. He's awesome. He's an awesome dude. He does good things. He's just a good guy. I'm not a huge fan of his music. I feel bad for saying that. I try to get into his music because I love him so much, but it's hard. It's hard for me to do it. Maybe if I could go see a show, something like that. But I love Alice Cooper. And I love his radio show. I just have never been a huge fan of his music. I don't know why that is. Did you know that the Grammys were on last night? Did you care? Did you know that Metallica was honored with the Grammy in the Best Metal Performance category? Yes. And the band wasn't there. Robert Trujillo, the bass player, was there to accept. None of the other band members were there. So that tells you right there how important the Grammys are. Remember when Metallica was up for the first heavy metal Grammy back in like 88 and they got beat by Jethro Tull? And that's nothing against Metallica. That's just how stupid the Academy was that they gave the heavy metal Grammy to Jethro Tull. And you know, Crest of the Knave, that album is actually a really good album. It ain't heavy metal. It was ridiculous that they were nominated in heavy metal, and even more ridiculous that they won. It was stupid. Everyone knew it was stupid. I think Jethro Tull felt stupid getting the award. It was dumb. All right. Well, hey, that's what I got. That's what I got. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, guys, we're all in this together. We don't have time to let stupid things like politics get in the way of the truly important stuff, like friendship and classic rock. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Thanks for following us on X, on Twitter, on Facebook, and we'll do it all again tomorrow. Live long and prosper.